Hello, so in my previous video we went through a little analysis of a video game database and finished on this nice plotting. Just as a reminder, this is what our data frame looks like. So it's video games information through time. It goes from 1985 up to 2016, but 2016 and beyond is kind of odd values, so we could remove them or just at least not count them. So what we're going to do today is use a cumsum to see the evolution of cells, of cumulative cells through time, and see with animation how the cells of every publisher has been evolving through time. And we're going to stop by analyzing the biggest publishers to begin with, and maybe later on do something else. But for now, let's get on with this project. So we're going to start with the cumsum function. So the cumulative sum of pandas is working in a very specific way that I want to cover in this video, and maybe I'm going to have to make this video about that specifically. So let's create a pandas data frame that is going to be shaped kind of like this. We're going to have values that are going to be 1, 2, 5, 10, minus 10, minus 20, and 30. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, great. Then we're going to have characters which are going to be Rick and Morty alternatively, and I think what I'm going to do is simply copy and paste this. We're going to have two types, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then we're going to see, so this test data frame is going to be equal to this. And we've got this table that comes up, so it's just values and the character that goes with it, completely random data set, right? But what we want to do here is a cumsum. So what is that going to do? Well, let's try it out. We're going to add a column with a cumsum, so we're going to say that test of column cumsum is going to be equal to test dot cumsum of values. Okay. Now let's, oops, sorry. Ooh, it's values capital V. And you know what? We're gonna print test right away. Here we are. So what can you see here? Well, you start with a value of 1, and then following the index, you're gonna add it, right? So you have 1 plus 2 equal 3, and then on the next step, plus 5 equal 8, plus 10 equals 18, minus 20, minus 2, and plus 30 equal 28. So that's basically what cumsum is going to do, right? It's just going to follow up on your index and add up the values cumulatively, and each row is going to have the current value of your cumulative sum. Easy as that. But you can go further ahead, and what we want to do is do the cumulative sum of specifically different publishers. So we don't want a big whole number, we want numbers depending on the publishers, and for that we're going to have to dig into the group by function of pandas. So let's go into our test and do test.groupBy. We're going to say by equal characters, again with the capital letter, I don't know why I put that there, and we're going to see what that is. And it is a pandas group by data frame group by object. What does that mean? Well, just like an iterable object, this is not something you can see. It's a structure that is used to populate data structure later on, and that's why you usually have to add an operation to this. So if I do sum, here I get a table. Here this group by object is transformed into a table with cumulative values, so 42 and minus 14 for Rick, and the cumsum here you can see is also used in this sum system. But what happens if I replace this by a cumsum? Well, you can see that things look a little bit different, and that's because you did the group by, but we cannot see the different like Rick and Morty values, but you can kind of see that it's not evolving at the same pace anymore. Sorry, my bad, we're not there yet. We're just here, we're gonna have just a cumsum of our values. So you see that this is related to that in a way, and so it's working out pretty fine. But now we want to populate our test table with the cumsum of Rick and Morty separately, and this is what we're going to do here. So what we're going to say is that test of cumsum is going to be actually test dot group by. We're going to say by equal characters, and in this we're just going to take the values, so this is giving us a series, and then on this we're going to do a cumsum, and what we're going to get here is going to look like something that we might want, right? So you have Rick at 1, cumsum of 1, Morty at 2, cumsum of 2, Rick at 5, cumsum of 5 plus 1 equals 6, and then Morty goes from 2 to 12 because it added 10, and then Rick goes to minus 14 and Morty to 42. So I wanted to showcase those different things so that it feels natural that we are using group by of a column to end up with this cumulative sum by different values in the table. So now we're going to do this exact thing with our df table, which was here. As a reminder, you can see your publisher here. We've got Nintendo, Tecmo Koei, Codemaster, ID, Factory. So a lot of things going on, and we're going to use our global sales as a core value in this project. Okay. So now let's go ahead and create this cumsum column in our df table, the main one, and as we just saw, we're just going to do a df of group by, but first I want to sort the values because I want to do this not based on the index but based on the years, and to do that I just need to sort by the years so that the cumsum is going to start from the beginning of the table to the end of the table. So we're going to sort by is going to be equal to year of release. I think it's written like this, and we're going to say that ascending is going to be equal to true. So that we go from the lowest year to the latest year. Then we're going to do a group by function, group by, and here we start to be funky. So group by, we're going to say by equal to publisher, and we're going to say as index equals true because that's how I did it earlier, and then here, just like we did earlier, we're going to take just one column so that this is going to return just a Pandas series and not the whole data frame. So we're just going to get global sales with capital S, yeah. And here is where we're finally, after getting this grouped by sorted series, this is where we get the cumsum component of it. So if you don't understand this, just go back to what we talked about earlier. We converted a group by object, which is just one column of it, and then applied the cumsum so that it then is going to be translated into the data frame. And if I now print df, I have an error as usual. Obviously it's the name of the column, so let's get back up there, check out the year. Oh yeah, it's not a capital O. obviously as underscore index. Okay, here we are. And if I go to the right of this data frame, I will see my cumsum function. So yeah, it worked. Nice. What are we going for next? Well, we're going to use this to create our animated graph. So we're going to create a publishers list that is going to be actually just the top publishers, because I don't want to clutter the graph with too many values. And we're just going to say that we're going to take df.sort values, and we're going to say by equal cumsum, and ascending this time is equal to false, because what we want to get is the actual highest numbers of cumsum, so that we can get the very biggest publishers. But because the biggest publisher might have multiple values at the top of this sorted table, we want to take the unique values of those publishers. So what we're going to get here is the publishers, just this one series, and then we're going to call the unique function to return a Pandas series of unique values from this previous series. And so now we're going to get our publisher list. That you see is pretty huge, because we have like decades of publishers in here. Lots of them just did a few games before disappearing, and they would just clutter the graph for nothing. So let's just get rid of them by just getting my publisher list, and let's say 10 biggest. And yeah, that sounds pretty fair, right? We got Nintendo, Electronic Arts, Activision, Sony Computers Entertainment, Ubisoft, Take-Two, down to Namco Bandai Games. So that sounds fair. Let's convert this into our top publishers list and go ahead with our project. Now let's do so now we want to use this list of top publishers to extract the actual values that we want from the main table, the df table. So we're going to call our cumulative publishers table, and then we're going to do a query on df.query, and this query is just going to say we want publishers, we want the publisher in our variable top publishers. Okay, so we're just gonna query the table to get any publisher that is in the top 10 publishers that we just created. And here we're just again going to sort values and say by equal year underscore of underscore release. Sorry. We're gonna say ascending equal true. You can't see it anymore, but how can I do this? Not really relevant, but well, here. Ascending equal true, okay. And then let's see what this cumulative pub looks like. Okay, maybe head. Okay, here we're gonna get from 1980 all those games from Activision, for example. So here we are with the cumsum starting at 1.11, 0.34. You can see that obviously it's within the same year. It's not perfectly ordered because we ordered by year of release and not by cumsum. Okay. What if we get the tail here? Cumulative pub.tail. Oh, we've got lots of NaN values, so not a number values. So we might want to get rid of this, right? So let's do this. Let's go and remove all those NaN values, and we're just gonna call our cumulative pub. Okay, and we're gonna say drop NA, so drop NA values, and we're gonna say that we're gonna drop NA values in the subset, which is going to be our year of release. I don't remember if I still need the brackets in here, but we're just gonna keep it for the sake of it. Maybe, you know what, in this and in publisher, because obviously if there's no publisher, who cares, but we already filtered those technically. Here we are, so we're gonna say cumulative pub equal cumulative pub drop NA, and now we are gonna say cumulative pub dot sort values by equal year of release, and then we're gonna say dot tail and check out if this worked. Yes, no NaN values anymore, so we can keep on going by just making our animated graph. So let's do this. Animated graphs are actually not that hard in Pandas. It's just a function of your already existing Plotly Express system. So here we are, we're going to create our animation. It's going to be equal to a px.var. We called px Plotly Express earlier in the previous video. If you're not sure about this, I'm going to let you search for it. So px.var, and we're going to call cumulative publishers as the table we're going to be using for this animation, right? It's here. And then what we're going to say is that this bar chart is going to take as an x-axis the publishers, and as a y-axis our values cumsum. So that's pretty basic for now. And then this is where we are saying that this is going to be an animated graph by calling the animation underscore frame value that is going to be just our reference, which is the thing that the variable that's going to change in this animation, and for us it's simply going to be the year of release. Okay, so that's the animation frame. It means that your value that's going to make the X publisher and Y cumsum evolve through it is going to be year of release, and then the animation group, which is the thing that's animated, the things that's going to be regrouped and reanimated at every step of your animation frame steps, is going to be, well, our cumsum value. Okay, and now we're going to do one last thing, because I want this evolution to be kind of stable and easy to follow, and for this I want my publishers to always be in the same position. So what I'm gonna do is just get my publishers in a fixated order. So we're gonna call the category orders parameter, which is gonna allow you to open a dictionary, and in this you're going to call for the series, the column that you want to use, and that has the values that are interesting for you. We are trying to sort the publisher column values, and here it's going to open to a value. So this key is going to open to a value, which is going to be a list, and this list is the values all in the order I want them to be, and I happen to have it up there. Oh no, sorry, it was here, the top publishers. So let's call our top publishers right here, sorry. So we're gonna say top publishers, and you can see that we have this arrangement, and it's an array. So we could call it in here or just copy and paste it. Let's just copy and paste it because I want it to be a visual indication for you. Okay, so this is the order I want to see appear in my animation, and then animation.update layout, because I was trying to make the animation a little bit slower. I don't feel like it's actually doing something, so maybe I'll put something in the description of the video if I find a solution for this. But you can access the transition values of your chart, and you can set it to a bigger or smaller value depending on what you want to do. So I'm just going to set up to 1000 for now, and then we're going to say animation.show. Careful, animation is the name of the object. It's not like something that you are going to do every time. This is your figure object, and then let's call it. And obviously we have an error. What is it? Value of animation frame is not the name of a column in data frame except expected. Okay, so it's taking my parameter for a value. Oh no, the values is not in. So something's not right. Year of release. Oh yeah, obviously. Here we are, and we do have it. So this is our Activision publisher, and you have this thing here. So let me zoom out a little bit, and you can move this and see through different times. And you see that Nintendo's here with Electronic Arts, Activision, Konami, etc., etc. And if you move it around, you can see everything evolving through time. Your scale is going to evolve on the left here, but everything here is going to be stable so that you can follow on Nintendo, for example, for the whole time, and see Electronic Arts appear and explode through time. Okay, and obviously what you can do is just press play and enjoy it, but this is what's taking a bit too long to my taste and that I would want to change a little bit, but maybe next. We're gonna come back on this data frame for some more projects and finish up on a few Pandas things I wanted to see. So yeah, until then, I'll see you around, keep on coding.